Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of WDW UK Newscast, The Pod. Hello and welcome to WDW UK Newscast, The Pod. It's me, Danny Perring. I am joined today by Matt.
Hello there.
Chell.
Hi.
Lewis.
Hey everyone.
And Andy.
How do?
Hello everyone. How's it going?
Yeah, all good, thanks.
Good.
Good.
Lovely.
Right, we are going to get right into it. We have got a pretty decent show today. We got Andy's trip report from his recent trip to Walt Disney World. We're going to break down quite a lot of that trip. But first, we are going to have a quick discussion about a couple of news bits that have come out over the last week. And one of them being today as a bit of a rumor as well. So did we all hear about the Adventures by Disney $100,000 per person trip taking us all around the world?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Ooh.
So this bad boy has sold out. I cannot believe that 75 of well, I can believe it, that 75 of these trips, that's it. That they're done now. There are no more spaces. But let's just quickly go through what it is that you're able to do on this trip, because I'm not gonna lie, if I had $110,000, I'd be on it in an instant. Right? So it is 24 days, covers 6 countries, and you visit all 12 Disney theme parks, as well as the Taj Mahal, Pyramids of Giza, and the Eiffel Tower. You also are a guest at Summit Skywalker Ranch, and this is all while you travel on a luxury Boeing 757, which is operated by Iceland Air. I mean, the Star Wars fans in us are straight away going giddy about the Skywalker Ranch, aren't they? And you can see Chell nodding like
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I'm not being funny, guys. I don't want to stay on this topic for ages because it's all sold out, and we know it goes to all the different parks. But how amazing would this have been?
Yeah.
Oh,
This
that was
is
incredible.
Yeah.
I won the lottery last week. I am splurging out.
Absolutely. The I think just to go to Tokyo as well for me would be it's a bit of a bucket list item for me. I don't know about you guys. Probably I'd say Lewis, I'd say you'd quite like to visit Tokyo, wouldn't you?
Yeah, Disneyland Tokyo Sea, I think, is the one that for me, that is kind of my ultimate, Disney park, I think.
Yeah.
But also I'd like to try Shanghai. Some amazing attractions there.
Yeah.
Pirates apparently at Shanghai is just unbelievable. So that's Pirates of the Caribbean, that is. So
Just random pirates there.
Yeah,
They're
just
great.
random pirates.
They come out, they rob you. It's brilliant.
And you get to ride Tron, which won't get built until 2062 in Orlando, which I'm sure Andy will fill us in on later when it comes to his trip report and seeing the construction firsthand.
Yes.
Did anyone have sort of anything they sort of like the look of on this Adventures by Disney trip that they sort of that's what they would want to have done, or like the VIP tours at Disneyland or anything like that?
I think there's a lot of the elements that I would absolutely love to do. And one thing I'm quite disappointed about is there's no stopover in Hawaii for Alani.
That's really surprising, actually.
Yeah. So they could have filled that kind of gap there,
Yeah.
and broke that kind of Japan leg down.
Yeah.
I'm really shocked by that bit. But yeah, I mean, like the whole Skywalker, the whole like West Coast side of things is phenomenal, really.
Yeah.
I also find the itinerary quite interesting, like finishing up at Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
Possibly the weakest, one of the weaker kind of parks, maybe. I mean, I know we all love it, but potentially could be one of the weaker ones if you're looking at all the other places around the world.
It comes, you look at it and go, well, everyone's probably been to Florida that are going that's paid to do this, so you probably should have started it in Florida and ended in Disneyland. Done it the other way around.
I mean, they've clearly done it because of the time zones this way. There was no reason they couldn't start it at Walt Disney World and then go over to West Coast and then just fly back into Orlando, and that's it. You go home. Bye.
Yeah.
So that's that. They've obviously done it from a time zone point of view, but still, that's just my personal opinion. It's it's not quite the climax at the end that you're like, oh, that's Walt Disney World. And,
I've got to watch Enchantment.
Yeah, and not Happily Ever After. Not that we're bitter about this at all.
Just saying.
Mm.
Wishes. So I mean, what an amazing trip that would be if you could afford it. Absolutely. But we can't. So
speak for yourself, gang. Trip review coming next year.
Oh, wonderful.
That was a barefaced lie.
Yeah. I mean,
Molly going, is she?
If only I'd been able to sell it, and that would have been quite a nice little.
Yeah, I mean, it sold out in pre-sale, didn't it?
Yeah, didn't even make general public.
General sale. It's madness.
And although we say we're surprised, we shouldn't be surprised. No. And we don't. I know we kind of said we're trying to be positive and all that kind of stuff, but at the end of the day, we are seeing the move where they're kind of trying to place their product at the moment, and that is to the people that can really afford it.
Yeah,
because that's the way of the world right now. So bit of a shame, but I'm sure that hopefully somebody else will they'll organise something that's going to be slightly less money
for the peasants.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of
it's the same thing on a pedalo.
Yeah.
Or even if they just had a massive A380 which holds about 600 people or whatever, like 500 people, and just fill that at,
that'll be
20 grand
cheaper than what they're charging for this one. Well, speaking of things that are a shame, there is a little room. What a segue this was, by the way. Awful. There is a rumor going around that park hopping may soon need a park reservation made for it. So we all know currently that you need a park reservation. Every day you want to visit a Walt Disney World resort theme park, and you can currently park hop from 2 p.m. It's 2 p.m., isn't it?
Yeah.
The current thing is, yeah. So at the moment, you can just hop over to another park. So you start your day at the Magic Kingdom at 2 p.m. You want to go and look at some construction walls, so you go and visit Epcot. And the rumor is now that park hop will also need an additional theme park reservation. Now, I know a couple of us have used the reservation system already, being Andy and Chell, and Lewis, you've looked forward to using it as well in an upcoming trip. So for somebody that hasn't used it yet in map, what are your feelings on potentially park hopping needing a park reservation? Maybe if this is where Disney are going.
I just think to like when park hopping first became a thing, it was meant to be like you're spontaneously deciding we've done a bit here. We've done a bit in Magic Kingdom. Let's go. Throw a number in the air. 4. Okay, let's go Epcot. And it was meant to be like a spontaneous thing of we're going to go try a different park now. I don't like that it's going to have to be. It's just another extra bit of planning that I don't want to do and will probably be forced to do.
I'll do it for you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
In that case, it's a great idea.
Yeah. I mean, Lewis, I know again you've started using the park reservation system with your upcoming trip, so you've already booked some theme park days already. But I mean, if they announce that while you're out there, if you want to hop, that another reservation needs to be made, what are you thinking on that?
What I'm thinking is, what is the point? You know, like, I don't really understand what they're trying to achieve here. I mean, I know everybody's going to say, well, it's all to do with staffing levels and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, you've got an element of people that are going to be in the park at any one time because they've already made their park reservation. What are they trying to achieve from adding another layer? As Matt said, there's another layer that we then have to, another hoop that we have to jump through to go to another park. It makes absolutely no sense to me. So, yeah, I mean, my question is Disney purposefully making life difficult for the guest? What are they trying to? Surely the idea is that you just go and enjoy it, and you're not looking at your phone every 5 seconds, not wondering what park reservation you've got, or what Genie Plus reservation you've got, or what lightning lane you've got to get, or what virtual queue you've got to apply for, at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
it just feels like it's technology for technology's sake now, and I don't really understand the logic. And I'd love to hear, if it is something, I'd love to hear the reasoning why, because it can only be because, once again, they want to make sure that they've got their staffing levels correctly, i.e. to save money. So if that park is not likely to be busy in the evening, then they don't have to have so many staff rated on them, or vice versa. It's bonkers to me.
Yeah, it just seems like another way to micromanage every single guest that's stepping foot on property. I mean, where does it end? Do we have to reserve to go to Disney Springs next? Or the water parks?
Or do you have to reserve every single ride attraction that you're going on at a certain time? It's just like like I say, it makes zero sense to me on this one. And I really, when I saw the headline about the rumor, I thought it was going to be that they were going to take it away, and I was literally just about to celebrate. And then I read it properly. It's like, you have got to be joking.
Yeah,
You genuinely have to be joking.
It's bizarre. It really is.
I don't understand. I don't even understand the logic of just the reservation in general still being around. Like, I thought
it was a COVID thing, wasn't it?
It was a COVID thing, and now
Universal aren't making you reserve down a park day.
Everyone's told us it's fine now.
I think, but I think that wasn't why they brought in the reservation system. They pretended it was the reason why they brought it in, but as I've said, really, it's a cost-saving function. So they know what staff need to be, how many staff they need to rate on in certain places. The fact is, I don't really understand, because surely if have a park that's open that has attractions that are going, then why, you have to have them staffed. You have
Yeah. But why do they need to know what staff they need in the middle of the busy summer period?
right.
Is it a shock to them that those parks are going to be rammed full of people?
Walt Disney World, it's your 50th anniversary. You should have this down by now.
Yeah.
Oh.
They've been doing this for 50 years in Florida. This shouldn't have just crept up on top of them. Surprise! People like to come here. It's it's bizarre.
Is it only sort of like restaurants and refreshment carts? Is that the things that they're looking to, whether they need to be open or not? I mean, I don't know. It's just, but that's allegedly the reason.
Yeah. I mean, Chell, what about you? I mean, you're on your phone enough out there when you're looking at the app and all that fun stuff, aren't you? So, and you're
It's all too technical now.
Yeah.
Everything's too technical.
Gone are the days when you could just rock up to the Magic Kingdom. Take me back to 1995.
I would say that when we were making our park reservations, they were never fully booked. We always got what we wanted to get. I don't know if that's the same with you, Andy, but we never didn't get what we wanted. And even if we wanted to change on that morning, they were still available.
So we found it was really, really busy closer to the time. Say, like, for example, I wanted to book a last-minute theme park. And I don't know if this is strategy by Disney, but the only theme park that was available was Epcot. Now, you would think it would be dead. However, they're obviously trying to force people in there to use the virtual queue system and then go on Guardians.
Right.
So
it's a cunning plan. Whether or not this happens, I'd like to think it doesn't. I'd like to think they're clued up enough to go, do you know what? Let's just keep it as it is, and then hopefully just get rid of it. It would be nice, but we'll soon see. We'll soon see. Definitely not something I'd quite like. I wouldn't like to see anyway. No.
I think it's here to stay. I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
Certainly for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I think you're right. Well, what we'll do now, we're going to move over to Andy. We're going to go through his recent trip. But before we do, Andy, there's a pillar behind you it's green, and it's poking out one side here and one side here. Yeah, you look like Yoda when it's lined up correctly. There you go.
So this is a spare room which has been a dumping ground for God knows how long, and I recently changed jobs where I think I only actually have to physically be in the office once a month. So this is going to be my home office, and at the moment, as you can see, we haven't got rid of the suitcases yet. I will share you guys a picture of this morning. We got it off the conveyor belt at Manchester because it was battered. So we've had these for quite some time. They're going to go to the local tip in the next couple of days. Then we'll buy new ones next time we travel. But yes, strong you are.
So, Andy, you went to a little place called Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
How was it?
As I was saying to Charles before we got on, it was hot, sweaty, a bit hot and a bit sweaty. So, yeah,
episode over. Thanks for listening, everyone. That's
Bye, everybody.
No, it was we peaked 36 one day, and it was blistering. And it just happened to be the day we went to a water park as well, so we burnt like. I'm a northerner. We don't see the sun apart from 2 days a year, so it's it was intense, but it was brilliant. It was just so nice to get back. But I think the main thing for us when we got there, and I'll talk about the travel properly in a few minutes, but once we landed at Orlando, we got into that sort of like inside the terminal where you can see the hotel and the Disney shop. There was that moment of realization, like, oh my God, we've actually done it. We've managed to get back to Disney, and that sense just washed over us. And I must admit, I shed a little tear, and maybe kissed the ground a couple of times and thanked God, and and it was just so great to get back. And then, we went to the Alamo check-in desk to get the car, and the lady was like, "Is this your first time back since the pandemic?" And she gave me the biggest hug and said, "You can't understand how happy we are to have you guys back. That during the pandemic we were doing maybe 4%, 3% of our daily trade in car hires, and people are losing jobs, and everybody was just so happy to have the British back. Like they couldn't go out the way and be nice enough to us. So it was just lovely. Such an amazing feeling to be back.
Price of them rental cars made them happy as well, though, didn't it?
Well, thankfully, because I think I'd moved my holiday around a few times. I'd managed to lock a price on the car hire, but
Nice.
I have revisited it recently, and I did think to myself, "Wow,
Yeah.
I need to win the lottery."
Yeah. I think we've got a tank for our trip next year with all 75 of us going. It seems.
Yeah. I think we ended up with a people carrier. So we had the Chrysler Voyager. Honestly, everything off the remote. So I could open all the car doors off the remote. I could start the car off the remote to let the aircon go in. Oh, I was in love. Obviously, they're all modern vehicles, so they all have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. So I'd paid for the scheme through Virgin when you got the sat nav, and she went, "Oh, you've got your Apple CarPlay going. Do you want the sat nav?" I was like, "No, but can I get proof that I've not took it?" She said, "No, it's documented here that you've not took it." I was like, "Yeah, cool. No more pulling over once you get past that point and trying to get this sat nav working." So yeah, it was good.
Silly question, right? Silly question. I know CarPlay's all done through Bluetooth, correct?
No, that's what I was going to say.
No, you need a lightning cable if you're on an iPhone, or a USB cable if you're on that other thing.
So how do you use
Would you use your
maps out there then?
data?
You using your data?
Yeah.
Oh, breaking news! Andy Robson's loaded.
No. Top tip.
Oh my
Go
God!
on,
What?
talk to me, Goose.
Get a 3 SIM. Buy a 3 SIM, and you can use the data on that. I think that I don't know how much they are now. It used to be about 20 quid.
Yeah.
But you get 12 gig of data on it. Buy that, whack it in your phone. You don't hear from anybody else. Happy days. But you've got a phone that you can use, and you've got all the data that you need to use your while you're in the parks and for the car journeys.
So
my
personal mobile phone's through O2, and when I got the contract, I got a couple of options to add on free perks. So I got like Disney Plus free for 6 months, which I just tabbed into the back of me plan. And they said if you want it, you can have a bolt-on. I think it's like an extra £2 a month, where you can use your entire package over in the US. So I was like,
oh wow,
no brainer. The only problem is, whoever O2 used in the US for roaming, I think it's T-Mobile, it's not great. But for low data usage, things like SatNav, it was fine.
I also believe that you can download Google Apps.
Yeah, Google Maps.
Google Maps, sorry. You can download it.
So if you find the section that you want to cover, so say you just cover Central Florida, you can then create a drag drop over the central map area, and it just downloads it offline for you. The only thing it doesn't factor in, which we found quite handy a few times, is live traffic.
Yeah.
Like the I-4 at certain times of day is a bit of a, lovely place to spend all afternoon.
Google, what's the traffic like? It's bad.
It's that report off from the guy. How's the weather? Bad.
So in terms of, you travelled with Virgin, correct?
We did. We had such a wonderful experience.
Oh, okay. Oh dear. Right,
so,
go on.
It's almost like I got a friend who works in the travel industry, but somebody mentioned get your backside to the airport well early. And we arrived 4 hours before the flight rather than the 3 hours before the flight, because we knew, particularly in Manchester, there's been a lot of issues with check-in desks. TUI's having a wonderful time at the moment, said nobody. And basically, we got there plenty of time. We must have queued in the check-in queue for about an hour. And they were still booking in people from the early flight, because we went for the 11 o'clock flight out of Manchester. There's also the 10 o'clock flight out of Manchester. And they were still getting those people through check-in. They were still getting I want to say it was a Dallas flight. Might be wrong there. Another flight anyway to the US through the check-in. When we got a text message to say that your plane is delayed by 2 hours due to a technical issue. Now, delays don't bother me because at the end of the day, once you get past 3 hours, you know you're going to get an extra couple of quid in your pocket anyway. But as we're getting to the front of the check-in, this woman came up to us and noticed that there was me, Kelly, and the girls, and said, "Listen, it's going to be a couple of hours. We expect it actually to be longer. We got Holly with us, who's autistic, and she's already registered with Virgin as needing support. They knew that, and they just said, listen, there's an option for you here. We can move you onto the earlier flight, which means we'll priority book you. We will then get you support to get through priority security, and then you'll be escorted straight to gate on the plane. Your luggage will come with you, and all the children's meals and all that will be sorted." So we said, yeah, why not? Absolutely, let's do it. Now, quick question for the group. Do you think they actually kept to that promise?
I'm going to go out on a
No.
limb and say no.
No. We queued for another hour and 20 minutes in check-in, where they were doing the same with multiple families. They only had one check-in desk for a flight that was leaving about an hour and a half, and by the time we finally... No, sorry, an hour and a half from that point. And they were still continuing to check as a priority a plane that was delayed at that point by 3 hours. And at one point, I said to the lady who'd moved, I said, listen, if you're going to wait any longer, we know security is going to be lots of fun, irrespective of whether or not we've got the accessibility route pass, whether or not we've got kids, but we're not going to make the plane. What happens then? You'll be fine, you'll be fine, you'll be fine. I said, I get that. I said, but if I missed a plane, I've missed a plane. Are you going to move me back to a later flight? Or are you going to penalise me saying we'll have to pay to move? Because we've moved at your behest, right? Anyhow, the chapter's in. It was all sorted. We got through security. We were 4 minutes late for the plane, but thankfully, so were a lot of other people who had been in the same boat. So they held off on us. After that point, we were flying absolutely fine. The flight was bumpy, but we didn't mind. And they came to serve the meal. And you can see them. They always bring out the children's meals or the dietary meals first, don't they? So, you know, my eldest was happy with the adult menu, whereas the youngest two wanted the kids' meals. And I'm like looking around thinking, where are they? And that was it. Didn't come anywhere near us. And then I realised the kids weren't getting fed. So they started coming down with our meals. And I said to the flight attendant, I said, listen, we've got 2 kids here. Where's the meals? Oh, well, the kids' meals have been handed out. And I said, hang on a second. We were transferred from the later flight. We were told the meals were being brought over. And I really do wish I'd filmed it. However, I will say now, if you're flying and you're filming, Virgin do make an announcement saying that if you're filming, you need to get the permission of others to film them. So I'm guessing something's got on there in the past. And I just said to her, I said, what's happened with everybody else who transferred? She went, any specialty meal, be that gluten-free chows, be it vegan, be it a kosher meal or halal meal, was not transferred over. And I went, but my kids won't eat an adult menu, particularly the youngest who's got autism, because she'll only eat specific meals. That's why we pre-booked the children's meals that we knew to be chicken nuggets on the way out. And she went, I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do. And I just looked at her to say, we're on a flight for 9 hours. What the hell is she eating? Anyhow,
Nothing.
yeah, literally. A few minutes later, I walked back to just say to her, do you have any unused meals? And there was one child who apparently was fast asleep, hadn't woken up, and they'd left his meal at the back. And I'm not ashamed to say at this point, I pretty much had to beg for the meal and say, can you please go and have a word with this child's parents? If he's not going to wake up, can my daughter, who's wide awake, have the meal, because she would not eat anything else? And after 15 minutes, they came back to us and gave her the meal. They'd been sat on the side, it had cooled down, it had condensation under the tinfoil, and was soggy. Unedible. Needless to say, I've already sent a complaint email over to Virgin Atlantic and said I was unhappy with the process. It had to turn on and said to me at check-in, you can move, but none of that stuff's going to be transferred over, I would have said, it's fine. We will opt to wait. And all right, they might turn and say, all right, if you do this, you're going to forfeit your compensation. I would have just gone, I'm not bothered because I know that's going to happen if I don't.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was an absolute nightmare.
Andy, was your luggage okay though?
Going out was fine. Yeah. No issues because that was my second thought. We landed at Orlando. We got through immigration really, really easy. The guy at the immigration desk was lovely, really nice to speak to. And we got to the conveyor belt, and it dawned on me, like, I'd been on this plane for 9 hours, and all of a sudden it popped into my head, and I went, oh my God, what if the luggage is not here?
I've got no
Like,
pants.
I've got the clothes on my back, which was jeans and a t-shirt. I don't know how anybody wears anything other than shorts and t-shirts in Florida. I really don't. But yeah, it had that happened. I think I probably would have gotten a flying ban on Virgin for the rest of my life because I would have gone completely ape on it. But no, we were lucky. It was all there. And like I say, after that point, once we got through all that and we got the monorail to the terminal, we were fine. The car hire, not an issue, was absolutely fine. We had a few hiccups on the flight back. Mainly that we had to return the car hire by 3 o'clock because that was the end of the day we were expected for Alamo. We were on the 7 o'clock flight. The flight was delayed till about 9 o'clock in the end. I think we flew home. And we weren't allowed to check in until gone 4:30. And by that point, I just said, you're expecting us to lug luggage around the airport for nearly 2 hours with young children. We had plans to go into the lounge, which we pre-booked, which then wouldn't let us in because that was full because of all the delays. And in the end, I just went and found a bar and got myself a beer. So, but yeah, I don't want to sort of leverage all like Virgin's hands. And I've got to say that the flight attendants on the flight going out were really helpful and understanding. Like when I'd asked about the meal, she went and got me a free box of Pringles and just said, "Look, I know it's not nutritional, but it's something at the moment until we can sort something out."
It's better than nothing.
Yeah, absolutely, right. And they were lovely in that sense. They were very, very understanding. I had a great conversation with one of the flight attendants because obviously Virgin have only just started allowing their staff to show tattoos now, haven't they?
Oh yeah.
So we had a great chat about that and talking about the upcoming Pride Month of that he would be celebrating it with Virgin in LA, I think he said. But yeah, it was fine. The in-flight entertainment was fairly decent. Can't grumble with that. It was just those few little things. So
yeah. I mean, yeah. It doesn't sound like the worst trip in the world getting there. There's probably been worse, but I can imagine with the little one being autistic as well.
Yeah,
that played a part in frustrations, shall I say?
Yeah. I mean, in our family, my brother still has the worst story for getting to Disney World, and his story is that he was flying with Virgin on 9/11 and then was stranded in Canada for a week. So I think that pretty much tops that one. But like you say, if it wasn't for her and her needs, I think we would have been absolutely fine.
Yeah. So when you got there, where did you stay?
So we did a bit of a split stay, and this is something that isn't unique to DVC owners, but it's something DVC owners like to brag about. We'd originally planned to do 7 days at Riviera, and we'd then booked through Lewis to go and do a few days at Endless Summer, but due to circumstances, things fell round. We unfortunately had to cancel the Endless Summer, and we then needed to sort out the DVC stay. So we cancelled the 2-bedroom Riviera and could only get a 1-bedroom for 2 nights Riviera. So we did a first 2 nights there. And I openly said on our last podcast, I was at that point in my life where I was thinking to myself, what on earth have I paid for and why am I keeping it? Now I know. Now I know.
Yeah, you sent us a message, didn't you? You sent us a message the moment you arrived at the Riviera and just showed us a video of the lobby and said, I'm not getting rid of it.
Oh, hello. Sorry. One of the dogs is coming.
For those listening on the audio, a dog has just walked into Andy's room.
It's one of my 2 dogs. It's Pippa. What's up, puppy dog? Go on. So yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, the lobby's not as big and open as like like the Animal Kingdom or the Grand Floridian or Wilderness Lodge, but it was beautiful. I don't think any of the videos really do it justice, and because you've got the Petit Cafe just off the lobby, that smell of French coffee as you walk in is bang. You can smell the patisseries, and oh god, straight away I was just like, wow. And we did an online check-in. We told them that we were getting there at a certain time, and obviously we hadn't adapted it when we changed the flight, so we were a bit early. We just walk around the lobby, we'd put our suitcases in with bell service. We just having a look, and this lady came over and said, "Hi, you all right?" We'd explained what had got on and that we're early. She went, "Give me 2 minutes." And she went, "Right, your room's not quite ready yet. We've got the bar downstairs. There's the quick service. You want to go get your refillable mugs out. You can do some shopping." She said, "Or if you're really, really bored, there is a scavenger hunt that you can do. It's all around the lobby." And the Riviera is famous for having what they call the European Masters equivalent of Disney artwork. So like there's a picture I really wanted to get, just didn't have the money for, and it's the mother from Peter Pan cuddling the three children with Nana to the side, and it's the most beautiful picture you can see. And the idea is you've got to find all these, and you got the slipper, you got to put a sticker on it, and when you're done, you take it to the DVC team who are going to stand there, and they give you one of these.
Oh wow!
Cool.
Now these were for sale in the shop at this size for about 8, and we got 3 of these in the end. So one of these is going to go up on the wall behind me. Yeah.
Nice.
And it was just great, like just a really cool experience to do. And me and Kelly went and grabbed a coffee while the girls were running around the lobby trying to find all the pictures and doing the stickers, and then we had a walk around. And yeah, absolutely fell in love with the place. We checked into the room. We had what was a preferred view because it's all we could get, and realistically, it was a fantastic view of the pool, fantastic view of the lake. We could see the Skyliners. We could see the Aruba section of Caribbean Beach, but we couldn't see the Epcot fireworks. And I think I would have preferred to be able to see them, to be honest with you. But we could sort of see them over the top of the roof line. Absolutely gorgeous. I honestly don't remember the room being that big from when I did the Wendy House tour at the DVC sales centre. I really don't. Madly in love with it. And I think by the time I'd sort of laid down in that bed that first night, got the TV on, just watching, various bits, I was like, yeah, I'm not selling this. But the good thing for me is at the time I knew I was changing jobs, and I'm now no longer paying $3,500 a year to get to work. So I was like, do we save that money? Do we bank it, or do we just keep the timeshare? And Kelly was like, yes, we're keeping it. So after the 2 days, we then transferred over to a 1-bedroom, just a standard view at Saratoga Spring. So we stayed in the grandstand section, which is actually quite close to the main lobby. I think it took us 5 minutes to walk over.
Oh,
when we
nice.
went over. So it was great. Room was lovely, different layout.
What is
Is
that?
it windy somewhere?
Sorry, apparently the cast of The Fast and the Furious are driving down our high street.
Was that you?
That's outside, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, that's staying in. Oh,
Excellent.
dear.
There you go, Chelsea. That's your clip for sharing.
There's the clip.
Yeah.
So yeah, went over to Saratoga. I'd spoke to Bell Service before we left for the air, and I said, do we take the luggage? Do we need to go there first? I said, no, we'll come and collect it, and we will physically transfer it for you. And when you get your room, you just ask their Bell Service to bring it over. And I thought, for the sake of maybe a small tip, that was such a weight off my mind.
Yeah.
Room was a different layout. I don't feel like it was as big as the Riviera, but it's an older resort. It was quaint. It was lovely. I think the only sort of negativity I've got with it was somebody thought it was a great idea to release season 4 part 1 of Stranger Things while we're on holiday, and my wife was like, well, we're not waiting till we get home. There was no way to cast it over to the TV. However, me being the smart aleck that I am, we don't have an Amazon page. We don't get anything for showing you this, folks. But this is a HDMI to a USB-C cable. And that end went in my iPad, sorry, which is a USB-C connector, and that went into the
I
back
got
of
one
the
of them.
TV.
I've got one of them as well.
Yep.
They're brilliant.
Aren't they just? I
Yeah,
normally
one
use
of
mine
them.
to connect my works laptop. Oh, camera's gone again. Oh, there we go. No. There we go. So, yeah, we just did that. Whereas I think with the TVs at Riviera, you can cast over.
Right.
So, again, my only negativity was I couldn't charge my iPod while casting. So, but no, Saratoga's lovely. I've heard people call it the resort of last resorts, and it is. It's always got rooms. It's always got availability. I think it
See,
gets a
I would
lot of
have
flack.
I'd have no issue staying at Saratoga Springs, by the way. I think Saratoga Springs looks incredible.
Yeah, me too.
Lovely.
I would say there without hesitation.
Yeah, if someone said to me, oh, all the DVC resorts are fully booked when you go, apart from Saratoga Springs, I'm not going to go, nah, I'm all right, I'll skip.
No.
I would
Yeah.
definitely stay there, 100%. Nah, decent. That's good.
I mean, it's
Where
just-
we were
you
in the
just-
grandstand is. Sorry, Lewis, go on.
So I was just going to say, you're just a short walk from Disney Springs as well. It's just like
Or the boat.
Ooh.
all the boat, indeed.
We were closer to
So-
the boat. The walk was about 20 minutes, and we did
Yeah.
do it one night. But yeah, the boat was literally yards away. Once we get to where we go to the lobby, say we go left the lobby, we went right to the boat. And yeah, the boat ride was lovely, really nice to do. We did it one evening. The sun had gone in slightly. It was probably dusky, like it is outside now, and you got that breeze and the water. And oh my god, it was just beautiful.
That's my favorite mode of transportation. That boat from Port Orleans Riverside all the way up to Disney Springs. I could sit on that boat all day long. On the
Yeah, I love that.
Sasagula River, I could sit on that boat all day long and just go back and forth.
I'll let you know how it is in a few weeks' time.
Wonderful.
But no,
a few weeks' time.
So
I'm really happy for you, Lewis. I'm really happy.
Yeah. So
You should be.
speaking of transport, right? So we
Yeah.
sort of covered the boat there. The boat worked well for you. Did you use Skyliners and the bus system?
we didn't use the bus system, just purely because we had the car. And
Okay.
I want to talk about the car hire in a second, I think. But we did use the Skyliner. We got into Epcot one day to do a World Showcase, and I'd missed the AM virtual queue for Guardians, but managed to get on it at 1 o'clock for later that day. So, we decided, what the hell, we'll leave the park and come back and play on the Skyliner. And surprisingly airy. Like, the breeze coming in through the vents is lovely.
Yeah.
Really nice. It kind of, when you're coming into the station, Chelsea, you probably appreciate this. You come in and you like that. It's coming in really fast. All of a sudden you go, whoa.
Yeah. Like,
And it was
back.
like, yeah. And it was brilliant.
You're going to stop as you're coming in.
Yeah. And we did it that day. We'd gone to Riviera, and thankfully we did, because it started raining cats and dogs. And as we were running to the Skyliner station, the Skyliner to Caribbean Beach is the nearest one to you. And the woman just said, get on here if you're going Epcot, just stay in your car, you'll go around the circuit and back out. No, we got to Caribbean Beach Station, the guy made us get out, walk around and requeue to get back on.
Mm.
And it wasn't busy. I could understand it was round, absolutely mental, but it wasn't busy.
I'd have gone all right. I'd have gone all right busy. Yeah. Cheers for that.
I just looked at myself, that wasn't what we were told. Like, you're not busy. No, you have to get out. I was like, what is the point? What is the actual point? But yeah, we did it. We got back on. It was very weird because when you're on the buses and when you're in the monorail, maybe not so much the boats, you're in sort of like an air bubble, so sound is a bit muffled outside. And we heard a motorbike going underneath the Skyliner on the road outside of Caribbean Beach. And boy, could you hear that bike. Like outside Matt's right now. But yeah, lovely. We did the monorail a couple of times because we did a couple of the monorail loop hotels on one of the last days, and we did the General Joe Potter over to the Magic Kingdom one morning as well. And that's to me is one of my favourite memories doing that boat.
Oh,
Mm.
definitely. So
Yeah.
I assume car hire was used for Universal and various other activities.
It was. We managed to get preferred parking in every single theme park for free
How?
Wow.
because we've gone through such a progress with Holly over here that she now has what we call the Blue Disability Parking Badge. And
Yeah.
we filled in the forms and we got the American version, which is, please tell me it's not in there, I've not left it upstairs. Yes, it's definitely upstairs. It's basically like a little hook, you know, like you hang on the do not disturb signs on your door,
Yeah.
and it just goes over your wing mirror. And we left it in pretty much all the time. We did have a second one hung up, which I'll tell you about in a second for the toll passes. But yeah, we just got to there, and every time we got to the theme park, when we either scanned in or we paid at Universal, they just said to us, "You follow that way, after disability parking," and yeah, fronts the park every single time. Absolutely fantastic. If it's for somebody who's got accessibility needs, because Holly's still in a chair, we have a specialist chair for her
I have
now.
a question.
Go for it.
When you applied for the disability, is it a long process to apply to get like
No.
a disability? Because I always
So-
say our dad could do the same thing, but he's never done it because he thinks it's a long process. So we've never done it.
It took me probably the grand sum of maybe half an hour to get it from start to finish.
And you do that before you go.
Yeah, so it takes about a week to get out to you. You'll contact it's an office of tax collections in Florida. What I'll do is when we post the video, I'll make sure to share the link. And I am trying to put together a video for the channel explaining how to do it. And what you do is you contact them with the blue badge and a copy of your passport. You fill in a form. At most, they may ask you to get a letter from your doctor to say why. And we'd already done that because we'd had to contact Virgin and say that Holly couldn't wear a mask on the plane, which was mute by the time we'd gone anyway. And they just emailed back and said that the blue badge is actually accepted in Florida as an international permit. But when you're reading some of the Florida forums out there, what you tend to find is that the park attendants are instantly drawn to the rearview mirror in the car to look for that hanging thing. What they don't do is they don't look over here at the dashboard, and we're finding that on occasion, there's probably a 50-50 split. Brits are getting fined when they've got a disability parking badge, and then the tour companies and the car hires are just like, you're paying it. So we filled it in. We had to ring up the office in America. So that's probably the thing that's going to be the biggest pain is finding A, somewhere you can get the free calls from, or B, taking that call on the chin. And then we just made a $17 payment over the phone.
Mm-hmm.
The call took maybe 5 minutes, and it was posted out within a week.
That's
it was
good to
that
know.
easy. Yeah.
That is good to know.
And we could use that everywhere. The only caveat is you have to have it hung up at all times. And what we purposely did, like a couple of occasions, I might have gone to Walmart, I might have gone to a shop either on my own, or took one of the older kids with me. I did not use it then. I didn't use the disability parking, and I used regular parking. My logic is, as it is over here with the blue badge, that passes for Holly, and it's not for any other member of the family. So it wasn't abused by anyone. No. The other pass we had is, you'll probably agree with this, Lewis, stopping at the toll booths the few times that you do and to find dollars is an absolute pain in the backside. So what we did is the Florida Visitors Permit. That is dead easy. There is an app that goes on your mobile. You
Just about
tell
the
Lewis has already done the app, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Dead easy to do. We literally just linked it to a credit card. There's a QR code when we get there. We scan it, and then it drops down, and you literally just hang it. I said to the woman when we got it, it's a little kiosk, and it is literally loose. As you're walking through the car hay section towards the Virgin checking for Alamo, it is
Yeah.
right there. So you know where the
Yeah.
Virgin staff normally meet people with their dollars and stuff. It's right behind it, and she
Which
just
is a
said it's
real
an
shame.
RFID.
Which is great, but it's a real shame that I'm hiring with Avis this time. So I've got to go to Terminal A and then go over to Terminal B to get my
Yeah.
car. So,
But it gives you that freedom. I mean, when we came back on the last day, we'd actually been into celebration for a couple of hours because of the later flight. We went round, we had lunch at the tavern, and we hit probably 2 toll roads heading out of there. And then, you know, we normally go the north way towards the airport. We actually came the south way.
okay.
It was just nice. I've never done that before. And we hit another 2 toll roads. I mean, it was only a couple of dollars each time, but there's only maybe 1 or 2 of them that had actual pay stations. And like most things now, there is a big emphasis on that doing the work for you. So,
Yeah.
I think we spent the grand total of $7.50 on the tolls. So,
Nice.
you do have to return it. So as we came back in for the Alamo check-in return, there is a bin before you get towards the elevators, and you just pop it in. And I think maybe an hour and a half later, I got the email to say that it had been returned.
Nice.
So,
Really cool.
really, really handy to use. And it just gives you that freedom because we got caught out in 2019. We'd gone down the toll road where it was automated. There was an unmanned station, and we had no change on us. We had $20 notes, and I pulled off because it was quiet. There was nobody else there. A patrol car pulled up behind and just said, you know, are you okay? And we just explained the situation. And nicely, because it was only $1.20, the guy paid for it. So said, off you pop.
That's nice.
And you're not always going to get somebody that nicely, are you? So it was just nice to be able to have that convenience and not having to mess around with cash. So, yeah, the toll pass, the visitor's toll pass, is an absolute godsend, and I will wholeheartedly be using that next time.
Yep.
Sounds good. We'll move on to the parks, which are the main reason why you're there, let's be honest.
Yeah.
That and the funnel cake. And Disney and Universal is what you did, correct?
Yes, that's right, yeah.
Yeah. So, talk to me. How did they both fare against one another in terms of cast members, team members, queues, crowds, screen-based attractions?
So just to preface this, I've obviously highlighted how they support needs, the disability parking app. So we did the DAS Pass for Disney before we went. And we also did the DAS Pass at Universal, which you can only actually get when you get there. Now, in terms of getting the pass, Universal was easier. So when we got to Universal, the first part we did was Islands of Adventure. We'd gone to guest relations after we got our tickets from the will call. And literally all they asked was, what impact would it have on her? Is it absolutely unattainable that she can't do X, Y, and Z? And we said, yeah. And they said, right, cool, here you go. And yeah, you got to go up to Rise to get a time to return, which was a bit of a pain. Disney, I had to do a live chat, which you can't do from the UK unless you're using a VPN. So I had to trick my network into thinking I was in Miami. And there is free VPNs out there, folks. So
you little trickster, you.
My computer thinks I'm in Japan at the moment. But no, there is free ones out there. They're not illegal, despite what anybody tells you. Yes, they are designed to make your computer think you're elsewhere. And unfortunately, with Disney at the moment, if you wanted to get Magic Band, for example, you're going to have to use a VPN because a UK-based proxy IP. Yeah,
it's the same for getting reservations at Zavi's workshop and things like that. You cannot get them online unless you've got a VPN. It's weird.
Yeah. If anybody's wondering, I use a company called Fast VPN. I use them professionally for other stuff with work, so that's me personally. It's obviously not an endorsement by the group, but there is others out there. Just obviously look into what people are using. Ask your friends that use this kind of stuff, right? This live chat was just 2.5 hours before I even met somebody, and it will
Really?
refresh every 2.5 hours. It will refresh every 30 minutes and kick you out, forcing you to re-sign back again, but you don't lose your place in the queue. So I literally logged on at midday as it opened, and it was still a 2.5 hour queue. So eventually, somebody came on. They came onto live chat first, just asking some questions, and just wanted to know why we were requesting it, who's it for, etc. The reasons. So, for example, it's Holly. She has autism. Her professional diagnosis is global development delay, so we had to explain that to them and what the impact to her would be. And then somebody came on to a video chat, had a chat with us, wanted to meet Holly, and then I had to hold her up. They took a picture off the webcam just to say, right, that is the image that we're going to use. So I thought, okay, it made sense a little bit later on. And after that, I just went to another live chat where I got to choose 2 attractions per park per visit. So first part we did was Magic Kingdom. So I selected Pirates of the Caribbean and the Haunted Mansion. What you can't do is you can't use it for those A-list attractions. So you can't use it for Rise of the Resistance to pre-book, stuff like that. Okay. What you can do is you can do virtual waiting in the day. And this is where the Disney Dash is better. I can go into my Disney app right now to find, say, Smuggler's Run. There's a 2-hour queue. And I'm like, okay, well, I've already got my pre-booked dash for Frozen sing-along songs, whatever it's called. And then I also know I'm going to have lunch, which will probably take me 30, 40 minutes. If I virtual queue that now, we're good. And it was much more accessible than the Universal version where we had to physically go to rides. When you scan it, you have to scan the magic band of the person who owns the Dash Pass first. So let's say, for example, you've got it, Lewis. We would have to scan yours first. That picture that they took in the live chat then pops up on the screen. They confirm it, and then the rest of the group can scan through. And I thought, this is good because Disney's now saying we will not let people take the Mickey Mouse out of us, pun intended, when it comes to the system. With Universal, they never checked it. I used it for a lot of rides that I knew Holly would never go on. Whereas if I tried that at Disney, and we did try it once, they said to us, no, it's for her rides. We just went, our mistake, we'll cancel it. So it was very much a case that Disney was much more on the ball about making sure people weren't abusing the system, whereas it was easy to get at Universal, but it was also a lot more easier for me to abuse. And I'm just, it's a little bit, you can understand why some certain theme parks, I think it was about 10 years ago, took them away for a bit, didn't they? Because people were abusing them and using friends. I think there was a report at one point about people hiring themselves out for being in wheelchairs to go and queue jump and stuff. So it's, you can understand why there's that rigidity around it. I will say it came in very helpful. Like the queues were insane some days. Like I think the day we got onto Rise of the Resistance, sorry, I went blank then. It was a 2.5 hour queue. And it was insane. So Hollywood never has stood in that. And I don't think the other 2, without learning difficulties, would have stood in it either. But, people did. So it is very much like the lightning lanes. We use the lightning lanes to access the rides. But I kind of see the benefit of the lightning lane system now in the sense of like paying that additional money. It is much better than having to queue. And I can see why people are paying it. Me personally, I didn't pay for it. I don't think I would want to pay for it. But I think if, push came to shove, I might have done if I needed to. And I know we talked about it, Danny and Lewis, about when it came to Guardians of the Galaxy, which the Dash Pass is a little bit different. The Dash was no different to the rest of the virtual queue. You just gone to the virtual queue and that was it. And they were advertising 30 minutes from you joining your boarding group to getting on the ride. Okay. Was it hell? It was about an hour and 10.
Oh, wow.
But the pre-show for Guardians is phenomenal. It's really good. Like, really well done. So Didn't feel
Go
like
on,
an hour
Terry.
to me. Terry's brilliant. But no, it was great. Really, really enjoyed that. Mobile ordering at Disney for food is an absolute godsend. Obviously, we paid cash for everything because there was no Disney dining plan. Although we did get told as DVC members we could have paid for it. I don't remember seeing that option at all when booking it. So,
Really?
yeah, I thought it was completely gone. Like it wasn't available at all.
Hmm.
But all the menu
So
options still have snacks.
Did you just say then that you did mobile ordering but could also pay cash?
Yeah,
with
that's what I
mobile
was going to say. Yeah.
Yeah, so you could pay cash. You could walk up and pay cash at the counter, but
Really?
mobile ordering was much easier. Yeah.
That's why I've never done it because I always thought you had to pay by card.
No, sorry. Pay cash if you were ordering cash in person. Sorry, mobile ordering is
So
card
you
only.
have to
Sorry.
have a card
Yeah.
payment active for your mobile ordering.
Yeah, so mine was linked
Yeah,
to
right.
my Revolut and to my American Express. So, but it was easier. Like I could be at, say, for example, the Little Mermaid ride in Fantasyland, and I could turn on and say, "Where should we go for lunch? Who fancies some Sunny Eclipse? Come on, let's go." I could order it on my phone as we're getting our gear together. I could then walk over. I could then spend the next 40 minutes trying to find a table because let's face it, that place is packed. And then I could say, I'm here. Within a few minutes, I find a table. Come to docking bay 6, pick up your food, and carry it over. It was a godsend.
Yeah, I'm going to take full advantage of mobile ordering next year. That's for next year.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
for sure.
Mobile ordering at Universal is there, and apparently it's very, very helpful. But I had a really negative experience with Universal's dining. The first day we'd gone to Islands of Adventure, and with Holly's diet, she's very much like don't know if you've ever read the story about Paddy McGuinness's kids how they'll only eat chicken nuggets. Holly's the same. So wherever we ate for the holiday, we had to go and look at menus to make sure there was something for her. As long as she was sorted, then we could figure out what we were going to have. And none of the Universal restaurants advertise children's meals, apart from the Harry Potter ones. So if you want to Google it. Go into any restaurant. So we ate at the I think it's called the Dig site, the one at the Jurassic Park Pavilion where you're
Jurassic
in
Park,
like yeah. And I got to the front, and there's a young gentleman funneling people through into the queue. And I said, "Hi, mate." I said, "Can you tell me what the kids' menu options are, please?" He went, "No, you just got to queue up." I looked at the queue and said, "Well, listen, if you haven't got the right options, I'm going to go to a different restaurant. I don't particularly want to waste my time queuing for a meal that actually I might not end up paying for." And he went, "You just got to queue up." So I tried bypassing him to go and get somebody else, full Karen mode at this point. And he just stopped me and said, "No, you've got to join the queue." And I thought, I can either make a fool of myself and cause an argument or just go and queue up. From the time I entered the queue to the time I placed my order, received my food, and sat down at the table, an hour and 40 minutes had passed.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Absolutely.
I'd have
And
burnt
it
the
turns
place
out,
down at that stage.
oh, I was cussing and all sorts under my breath, and yeah, I was absolutely furious. My daughter came over to me 3 times. The eldest kept saying, "Dad, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm bleep, 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 bleep." Sign up to Patreon to see the unedited version. But yeah, I was in a right foul mood, and that was it. Universal was scum after that point. I was just really upset. We went back a few days later to do the main Universal Park, and we ate at Mel's Diner. And what the lady told me is I asked her the same questions. We got to the door. She went, "If we don't advertise it, it's either burgers, cheeseburgers, or nuggets for kids." She said, "Granted, it's not the greatest options, but we generally find most kids are satisfied with that." She went, "Every restaurant will do the same, unless it's the Harry Potter ones where it's like a specific kids menu." And I thought, where were you 2 days ago when I was queuing at Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
You know,
Why don't they just
why do you?
advertise it?
Well, this is it. And you can't even order kid food off the mobile ordering. You can at Disney. I even checked SeaWorld.
Can you
can
not?
at SeaWorld. No.
That's
So if
really
you want to order a
bizarre,
kids
man.
meal, you've got to queue up. Yeah, so by that point, I kind of saw me BTM a little bit with them. And we'd used the DAS pass, we got on the rides that we wanted to do. Universal, particularly on the Harry Potter bit, was just insanely busy. And we were planning to go to Volcano Bay a few days later. And I just said to my wife, I said, I just don't want to. I'm kind of that disenfranchised with Universal over these little bit experiences. And it's probably quite piffy, actually. People are going to listen to this going, God, if you heard yourself, Karen, come on. But, one negative experience can really turn a day, right? It can really upset your day.
Yeah.
And I just didn't understand why the front of house staff, right, who are meant to be trained to these amazing standards, didn't know that they had burgers, cheeseburgers, and nuggets for kids. Or didn't have a little card that they could turn on and say, actually, that's that. All they kept on saying to me was, scan the QR menu. And I have, it does not mention it. It's on there. It's not, look, I'm on it. It is not there.
That's really weird.
Really bizarre. The rides are still good. I still think, and I'll stand by this, Spider-Man is one of the greatest rides ever made.
Yes.
Absolutely love it.
Did you do Poseidon's Fury?
No.
Don't blame
Why?
you.
Don't worry, we'll do it next year. We'll do it next year.
We kind of got to that point where we were just that tired throughout that day that
You didn't want to waste their time.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
The thing is, one can always find the energy for Poseidon's Fury if one wants it enough.
I didn't want it.
He didn't want it.
My wife didn't want it. Yeah, there's obviously only a few attractions. We obviously went and ate at Mythos, everybody's favourite restaurant. No, we didn't.
Right,
no,
there we go. Can I stop you there, Andy? Right, I'm going to stop you there. Right, listeners, I apologise for this. I'm just going to take my time out now. Right, the two idiots in my family here that want to go to that dump site next year, right?
The menu looks nice.
Yeah, the menu looks nice. Anything can look nice when it's printed on a nice bit of card, right?
Read it on the website,
they've still
actually.
got a banner outside that says Best Restaurant 1976 or whenever it was, right? That should be enough to go, let's not do this.
It's been there since the park opened. It must be doing something right to stay there.
Let's go eat green eggs and ham. That is what that banner is saying to you.
I'm going to eat multiple meals every day. I'll still eat greens and ham, but I want to try Mythos.
Not having it.
Anybody watch Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares? He goes to a curry house in Birmingham, and this curry house, I think the episode was like 2019. This curry house had a sign up saying the number 4 curry house in Birmingham in 2014. He's like, why the hell are you still celebrating that? I mean, I want to celebrate it in the first place. Take the sign down.
Yep.
Yeah, it's. I've looked at the menu. I've seen some of the VTs of people going and eating there. Nate Morrow did a great video a while back, where he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna eat something," and then, really gets amorous over it. But no, I just didn't fancy it. I went to Denny's instead.
Sounds like a better choice.
I understand that.
My only sort of mega negativity with the Disney parks is if you did not book a park access pass that day, you had no chance in hell. Whereas I might have booked a rest day and gone, actually, you know what, forget it today. I actually do want to go to the park and I can't just drive up, drive in and get to the park. That was infuriating. We had, towards midway the second week, we planned to go to Typhoon Lagoon and there was a tropical storm that was very, very close to being classified as a hurricane across southern Florida, moving up towards the East Coast. And yes, it was windy. It was wet. We had a Florida duvet day because there was nothing to do. We had no park reservations. We didn't want to go back to Universal. We couldn't go swimming. Nothing to do.
And
We've been to
let me
mall.
get this straight. Chuck E. Cheese was also closed.
Chuck E. Cheese.
Thank God.
I like some ropey stuff, Andy.
You do.
You
I'll
like
eat
rugby
any-
stuff?
Leading mythos.
It's like you're just
Brilliant.
asking for dysentery, isn't it?
The banner outside Mythos says awarded world's best theme park restaurant, theme park insider.
And how much do you
Very
think they got
well.
paid for that review?
What? 16 years ago.
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
like the
try
fact that no Disney and no Universal restaurants at all this year was awarded a Michelin star.
It's because none of
I
them are
think-
open.
No. I think the closest thing was this sister restaurant to the Polite Pig in
Yeah.
Kissimmee.
Hmm.
So, yeah. Well, yeah, the parks, but you know, for me, the magic's still there at Disney. I know there's a cost implication, like you said, the whole sitting on your phone all day long was a pain. And the only thing that they're selling you to help you charge your phones is there's rest points with plug points, USB points, like in a Creations Cafe, and then they still sell the fuel rods, which are designed for the iPhone 8 kind of legacy, so they can charge an iPhone 8 fully. The battery pack on an iPhone 13 Pro, which is bigger. It's
So
probably
they don't
swapping
work
them and
with the
trading them in.
iPhone 13 then.
No, they do.
They
just
do,
don't
but it
charge
doesn't
it fully.
take it up. Yeah, they don't charge it
No.
fully. I keep having to take it back more often than.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it will charge. So to say if it's
it
on
won't get you
50%, so say your phone's on 50%,
Yeah,
it will only charge it to say 75, and then you would
If you're
need to
lucky.
swap out your fuel rod for a new fuel rod.
yeah.
I would say it managed to charge the battery by maybe 30-40%.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not because
Well-
also you're probably still using it. Well, I do. I use it whilst I'm still charging it.
But that's not the worst thing in the world when you've already paid for the fuel rod and,
Oh,
and
no,
you've
and
got
then you can just
unlimited
keep-
swapsies,
No.
right?
No,
Okay.
Yeah. And I had two of the things, so yeah.
I've
But
got to.
like Chelsea says, when you're doing the DAS passes and you're doing the mobile ordering, and a lot of the videoing we did this time was on the 13 Pro rather than just using GoPros or
Yeah,
really expensive Canon cameras. It went very, very quickly. Luckily, my wife had a 13 Pro, and if I couldn't charge mine fast enough, hers was being used. So, and
Nice.
we got some great videos. Like, I think I sent you the video from the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, yeah, that came
and
out amazing.
all filmed on an iPhone 13 Pro.
Yeah, incredible. And that will be heading towards the channel soon as we start releasing some of these POVs of the attractions. But speaking of attractions, I've got 6 words for you, Andy. Guardians
Sure.
of the Galaxy, Cosmic Rewind.
How do I say this without
That's
swearing?
6.
Look,
Is it
it's
as
like-
good?
The table.
I've been doing it under the table. Guardians of the Galaxy. Is it as good as what I've been reading and seeing?
So I'm a big believer in hype destroys things. Like, I've never watched Breaking Bad because the hype is so huge in it, right? And I'm terrified it's going to be terrible. But we did the virtual queue for me, Kelly, and the other two, knowing Holly was too small to go in, and we spoke to them about doing some kind of swap off with the kids, and they said they'd help us out with it. In the end, Kelly and Sophia didn't go on it, so that they stayed with Holly. Me and Erin went on it, and I've got the phone in a jobby gorilla rig, so it's clamped in. I've not put the microphone boom on it because I thought, no, that's going to be a little bit too much. And we managed to get the front of the ride. And I was just sitting in the ride. The guy behind me just tapped me on the shoulder and went, "Are you sure you're going to be able to keep hold of that?" Because there was no strap in wrist. My hands had marks from gripping that thing. And it was just phenomenal. Like, you got up. You've obviously got the pre-show talking about one of the... what they're called?
Celestials.
Sorry?
Celestials.
The Celestials.
Yes, one of the specials. Yes, nicking the engine, and we're going to be
Eson?
using these magical pods. And it was mental. Like you get fired up a little bit of a ramp, and there's like a little bit of a loop like this, and the car starts spinning, and you're like, oh, this is kind of cool, and it just fires you backwards, and then it starts turning you, and I'm trying my best to aim this phone. Like I want to film this. I'm like,
This POV is going to be a good one, isn't it? It's just going to be darkness and random light now and again.
I've managed to get some good stuff, but it was just amazing. Like I don't know if it was just the way that it span. We had the music. I can't remember what the song was off the top of my head, and then obviously the explosions and the fighting around you and the video screens. It just makes me realise what they could have done with Space Mountain had they decided to revamp it or, make it a bit like Hyperspace Mountain. And it was fantastic. Absolute adrenaline rush. It was just fantastic. And I would quite happily go back tomorrow and queue up for another hour to get on that ride and do it again. But it was just insane. And
it's like my feelings
I don't
after
think
I rode Flight of Passage. Like I queued 3 hours for Flight of Passage, and I would happily do it again.
I don't think it's the best roller coaster in the world. I don't think it's definitely a patch on some of those mega thrill roller coasters.
But is it in terms of a Disney family coaster?
Yeah,
it's right up there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when we went in 2018 and we finally rode Slinky Dog, I kind of felt a little bit let down. Like, it was all right, it was good, but it wasn't the best family coaster out there. Like, I must admit, I thought Goofy's Barnstorm was potentially a little bit better, and I had to go back and forth over the two rides a few times just to decide which one I preferred. And I think the hype did mean a little bit with Slinky Dog, but Cosmic Rewind is absolutely amazing. The ride was great. You kind of have to go up to come down to board it, to come back off and go up and down to get over it. And I think that's just the way they designed the queue. But the whole experience was fantastic. The whole pre-show was engaged, and there was little bits all the way around. So you weren't like, here's a video, 5 minutes later, still nothing. It was really informative. Little things for you to read. Like, they had the costumes of the Nova Corps all the way from a fighter all the way up to Nova Prime, and then they had the different class of ships from Nova and all the other things. And I keep on looking for signs of Nova himself to see if there's any sort of hints with that. But no, it was great. It was a really well done attraction for a family coaster, and
nice.
That immersiveness.
Me and Matt are looking forward to explaining all of this to Chell next year when she's asking us exactly what the hell is going on when she steps foot in the building. Lewis, I will also have my phone on, so if you want to give me a call while you're in the queue,
I'll be explaining it in my nice new Star-Lord jacket that I will be purchasing.
You won't be allowed to buy the Star-Lord jacket, I can assure you that much.
Buy Star-Lord jacket.
We did try to go in the merchandise store, but there is a separate queue for the merchandise store.
Well, it's all being sold at Creation Shop as well, isn't it?
It is, and we had a good look at it. There's some great stuff, very, very retro.
Yeah,
very, very
some
cool.
of that merch looks really good. Like, it's quite worrying how much money I'm going to spend in that store next year. It's that and anything at Galaxy's Edge. To be honest, it's dangerous.
Andy,
I hope I get my bonus again next year. That'll come very handy.
What did you think of the Creation Shop? Because I know a couple people were a little bit negative about the Creation Shop, and I've only seen vlogs on it, but I really like the look of it and can't wait to go in there.
I don't.
I honestly don't. I don't think the vlogs do it justice. It was nice layout.
No, it still sucks.
It's not
Stupid
Mouse Gear.
name.
Mouse Gear had this great retro 90s vibe about it, right?
I loved Mouse Gear.
Yeah, me too.
But
I think we all need to just remember now that Epcot isn't the Epcot we grew up with, and we need to get over it, Danny.
I don't like change.
The Epcot is changed. I don't like change. Yeah, I think that's what we've all got to come to terms now that, and I'll be saying this for the next 12 episodes until we get to next year, and I'll be saying, oh, don't forget, we need to remember Epcot's not Epcot the way we used to know Epcot. But
Yeah.
I'll still be moaning about the changes.
It was great. I mean, we had to at the cafe, and the food was okay. Like very, very reminiscent in the way it was brought out and served to the food court at Art of Animation, where it's proper cutlery, proper plates, and there's a logic to that, right? They can wash them and reuse them, whereas they're not wasting single-use plastics, etc.
Yes, but is it as cool as Electric Umbrella was?
No, but again, that was like 70s chic. Nothing was that cool.
Danny,
Yeah.
Danny, you need to remind yourself that this isn't the same Epcot that you grew up with. Epcot has changed. Get over it.
I tell you what was nice is that we'd gone into the park and we'd gone into Creations Cafe, and I said to my wife, we've done the mobile order, let's grab a table, and I'll tell them that I'm here, and then I'll head over and get it. And I sit down on this table, and next to me is a woman, her mother, and her baby girl. And I noticed they were there. I didn't even think who they were. I didn't look at them. And all of a sudden, this voice goes, "Oh my God, Andy Robson, what are you doing here?" And it was Christina Whitman, my DVC rep, who sold me my timeshare. And it was absolutely brilliant because we're friends on Facebook. We had a chat. We took a picture together, which is on my my YouTube channels, Instagram and Facebook. And it was just lovely to see her. To see how she's doing. Literally, like, we were second day there at the parks. And we're like, wow, I was going to message you this week and see you were free for a beer. And
she said,
yeah,
no,
just
no, I'm not.
She did. She did. But she's one of the many Disney people who got laid off last year as a DVC agent. And then what Christina did is she went to become a real estate agent, and she's doing really, really well out of that. And she's just recently adopted her first child because she's unable to have children herself. So it was lovely to see a little girl. She's absolutely gorgeous, doing really, really well. And it was nice to go over and have a sense of normality because we'd met up with Christina on our last couple of trips when we were thinking about doing DVC and when we purchased it. So that was a nice little bit of normality for me to go to Orlando and meet the woman who ruined my life with a horrendous DVC debt.
So going back to the creation shop, do you reckon like once all the stuff that's kind of basically a building site right now is built, do you reckon that it's going to feel like it should all fit together?
Yeah, because the billboards are a massive pain. Like when we came in, we were funneled towards the left-hand side of Spaceship Earth to go around past Creations and then towards Mission Space, Guardians, etc. And then you had to cut across the top to come back towards the land. And I didn't realise at the time there is actually a cut through in the right-hand side, but they're proactively pushing you the left way because obviously they want you to go in the shop.
Right.
The billboards are horrible. Like there's not much time for construction, and we did get somebody say to us that they're in the process of doing the Moana water garden kind of thing, and that should be done within the next 6 to 12 months or 6 to 12 years, knowing Disney. And
all that's going to be is just like 5 sprinklers just plugged into a tap. That's all that's going to be.
I'm never going to get to ride Tron, am I?
It's like,
we had 110 grand you could have done.
like for Flower and Garden or for Christmas, they can decorate the whole place in one night.
Yeah.
They can change the place in one night. I do not understand why they can't put a load of plants in the ground and it's like whoosh, there you go, it's open.
Right. Well, this is the thing, right? Tron, they've obviously been doing some ride testing. I didn't see the ride going when I was there, but there is physically no scenery on the ground leading up to the ride. Like the bridge is only just being finished. Like they were still tarmacking the bridge, and you're like, "Oh my God, how are you not got like little posters saying Flynn lives and welcome to the grid?" Or
well, when Mum, Dad, and Chell were out there, you saw them laying all that concrete down, didn't you, Chell?
Yeah.
Right. That's for the railway track that still hasn't been laid.
Yeah.
That was 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's an
I don't know if
expression, isn't
any
there,
of you
about
guys
organising a
watched,
appeal for the brewery.
sorry, I don't know if any of you guys watch Mickey Views at all, but
I
like,
do, yeah.
like Braden's like, apparently his sources like say that the inside is even less finished than the outside. So
What they're going
it's
to do, open a
concerning.
ride with signs saying
So to
still
answer my
rendering.
question, no, I'm not
No,
going to get to
you're
ride
not.
it.
Yeah.
I think you will. I think you will. It'll be open by Easter next year.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden in the next 6 months they go, right, let's get this done, and it opens. I don't know. Let's say Guardians of the Galaxy time next year, so May-ish.
I think it's going to be sooner than that. I
You
think they.
reckon?
No,
Yeah, I think
look at
they
the
need
timestamp.
to.
I think all of a sudden it's just going to like happen.
But that's what it was. Guardians of the Galaxy was the same. We were like, oh, I wonder when it's going to open. When's it going to open? When's it going to open? And then all of a sudden it went, oh yeah, by the way, we're opening up in May.
May 27th. Yeah.
What? Yeah, we're opening up in May. Sorry,
But
where
you
did
not
that
see a
come?
cycle like they did this with Remy, didn't they? They just said, "Oh, we're thinking of doing this," and all of a sudden, boom, it's open.
The problem is though, Remy was finished 6 months
yeah,
before they went, we're going to open it. So when that opened October 1st last year, that was already finished in May. That was ready. They just decided, no, we're not going to open it yet. We're going to hold out for the 50th.
That was
You don't think
stupid.
they're doing that on purpose with each project? Like they're gonna give Guardians its 5-6 months of being in the sunshine, and then
Quite
the next thing will
possibly.
be, come October, November, Tron.
Quite possibly. Again, it wouldn't surprise me if in 6 months' time, come December, they go, Tron's ready, by the way. And then they go, virtual queue only. If you want a lightning lane, that's going to cost you $62.
And a spleen.
Or, you know.
110,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tron's ready, but you do have to be at MCO for your flight to Shanghai at 9 a.m.
I tell you what, I did see a lot of. You know the private VIP tours you could do with the cast members in the checkered blazers.
Yeah.
I saw a hell of a lot of them this time, like more than I've ever seen any given time in the past.
Right.
And those, correct me if I'm wrong with this, Dan, those VIP guys will give you unlimited lightning lanes. Like they'll literally just turn around and say, "Cool, we're walking on Tron."
Yeah, so it's what they'll do is they'll just go, what do you want to ride? And if you said, I want to ride Rise of the Resistance, they'll go, right, everyone over to Rise of the Resistance, and they'll just go
You walk
bang straight into the lightning lane.
I mean, I'm not sure how much they cost, and I want to say $1,000 an hour, but I do wonder if somebody sat down and said, "What's the bigger pain, this or this?" Because I saw a lot of them, and I thought to myself, either there's a lot of people with money walking on Disney right now, or there's a lot of people who said they'd rather pay that money than actually pay for lightning lanes.
Yeah, but don't forget as well, like we said at the beginning, and Lewis said at the beginning, the clientele that Walt Disney World are attracting right now is those with money. So it doesn't actually surprise me that you're seeing more VIP guests in the parks at any given time. Now, the fact that you're seeing more of them shows to me that Disney are getting the clientele that they are craving.
Yeah.
In the super, I'm not going to say super rich because, you know, if I wanted, I could probably end up paying for one day of a VIP tour as well.
Yeah.
You just got to save your cash, haven't you? But yeah, no, it doesn't surprise me at all. That
one attraction that we did do, and it's not actually a park attraction. We were wandering around Disney Springs one day, and near the House of Blues, possibly where the NBA exhibit is. No, because that's the M&M shop, isn't it? There was these people stood outside with white tops on saying Meta. And, you know, as you do, you kind of angle your way up. And they said, look, what we want you to do is to come in, sign up, and we will give you a 10-minute quest to experience with using the Oculus Quest. And it's called Tales from Galaxy's Edge. And you get 10 minutes using the Oculus VR system to go around Olga's Cantina, to then go out into Batu, get attacked by mercenaries using blasters, all within virtual reality, and it was bloody brilliant.
That's cool.
Didn't cost me a penny.
And was this in that really smartly built NBA experience building?
Possibly, yeah.
No.
There was
That
M&M's
big
next door,
old
I remember
space.
that. Yeah. But I got these two sort of little cards that I'm going to go up in here.
Oh, they're cool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
was
I did
loving
get
it.
a Meta water
Yeah.
bottle, but the water bottle kind of got dinged up. So, but for 10 minutes of my life, and obviously the fact that Meta now is able to see all my search history and obviously all my digital footprint, it was worth it. So
Cool. Nice.
that was
That's
great.
good. Yeah.
Did you take a trip down to Icon Park or anything like that?
No, we did the malls. We had a wander around on that. We drove down iDrive a few times. It's just the main place we went that we really enjoyed sort of having a good drive around was Celebration.
Oh, okay.
Which probably segues me into the food conversation. The first night we googled an Applebee's because I've not been to an Applebee's in a long time. The nearest one to us was actually on the edge of Celebration, right near the hospital. So we drove over, had a lovely meal. We'd signed up to all the restaurants that we could before we went, again using the VPN, but it was very difficult to use the offers. Some restaurants either wouldn't accept them, or I couldn't get the apps to work without having a US phone number, so it was a bit difficult. That particular Applebee's on the Tuesday at the time we were there was doing an offer that kids could dine, 2 kids to 1 paying adult, for $2 on a Tuesday. So that made the meals really, really cheap.
So
The only
like
other
Benny's,
restaurant,
where their kids are free on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
And
absolutely, which was another one that we picked up on.
that's why I'm
but
going
we
to go
never,
with mum and dad so I can eat for free.
yes, because you're a kid.
Exactly.
With my mum.
I'm with my mum. Don't put age range on it.
We tried going to Chili's a few times. So there's a Chili's right outside of Disney Springs. I can't remember the name of the road that's there. Every
Bit
time
of
we went, it
awesome
was an hour
broccoli.
queue. Yeah. A few restaurants like that, there were insane queues and there was no option to book. The only place we managed to pre-book in Kissimmee was BJ's Brewhouse. We did that for open table, and the rest of it was all like the Disney Springs restaurants. You had to pre-book. So we did find it expensive with food. Like we were spending on average $100 for a family of 5 for a meal.
For a meal.
For a meal. That's including tip. We got to the stage that, and this is one of the 3 things I've got to admit really sells me in DVC when I look at it in retrospect. Having a kitchen and having access to several supermarkets on your doorstep is a godsend. We bought bread for toast. We bought cereals and cartons of milk. We bought anything we could to reduce the cost of actually having to go and eat in a Disney restaurant each day. And what we did do is, because obviously Disney don't care what you order, is we would order kids' meals, and they were advertising 2 chicken tenders on the chicken tender meal, and we're getting 3 or 4. The burgers were exactly the same size, most cases, as the adult burgers.
Right.
The only difference is we've got a small drink. And yeah.
Well, I mean, we've decided next year when we get there, straight to Walmart, fill up, we're gonna get bread and ham and cheese and all that, and we're actually gonna make sandwiches for the boys because that's what they'll eat. They'll eat that more than they'll eat nuggets and burgers and mac and cheese and all that fun stuff that I will definitely be eating.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. We did one Disney table meal, which was on our last theme park day. We booked Ohana. That was the only one we could get that we wanted to do. We tried in vain to get Topolino's Terrace for breakfast. We tried for walk up. I've got more chance of Man United winning the league this season than getting into that restaurant at the moment.
Because they're rubbish. Good joke. Yeah.
Absolutely. They're panned. We probably just alienated our 3 listeners there. Yeah, it was it was cheaper than I expected to be. There was no characters, which was like really, really shocked because we'd gone through the monorail to the Magic Kingdom the week before and we saw characters at Chef Mickey's. So there was no Lilo and Stitch, no Mickey at Ohana.
That's a shame.
So the meal was cheaper.
Right.
But it didn't feel rushed. The waiting staff were fantastic, really, really nice, very understanding. We did ask about a few alternatives to the menu because of Holly, and they just said no, it's literally what we offer, but then still continued to charge us for a kid that didn't eat. So, but I suppose that's what you get when you book that restaurant.
Yeah.
It was all right. It wasn't the same experience we'd had previously. And I think it, a bit like the Mandela effect. It's not what you remember; it's what you think you remember. We remembered this lovely restaurant with great food, a great vibe, and a great experience. And there was no great vibe because there was nobody running around there singing and dancing. I didn't get to see Mickey Mouse up close. Didn't get to meet Lilo and Stitch. And I just paid over the odds for a meal I could have got down the street.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, we used the kitchen a hell of a lot for meals within the villa. The other two things that really sort of set it aside was the fact we had a 1-bedroom villa. So Amy and Kelly wanted to have half an hour away from the kids while they're watching TV in the living room. We could sit in the bed and watch TV. That separation was lovely.
Right.
It was nice to have. And the washing machine in the room. I mean, we worked out when you use the washing machines in the Disney resort, you're paying $1 for the detergent, $1 for the dryer sheet, and then you're actually paying for the machine. It becomes expensive. We spent $8 on a bottle of Tide and some dryer sheets at Walmart, and it was included in our room, the rest of it. And just being able to come in, strip off, get your clothes in the washing machine. We came back with one washer load of dirty washing. The rest was already pre-washed before we came home.
I'll let the wife know.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely godsend. I'm sold on the kitchen.
Washing machine didn't flood like the new builds at Grand Floridian?
No.
No? Okay, good.
It was noisy as hell. Like, oh my
But
God.
it didn't flood. No, you didn't come back to a swimming pool in your 1-bedroom villa.
No, we did not.
Good.
No.
Good.
But no, it was a rather enjoyable experience, which I suppose brings you to that inevitable last question.
It is, yeah. Is it still as magical as we remember it being?
I always think our memories are 100% like it. My dad passed away in 2007, and it's been 15 years. I always struggle to remember what he looks like. I like the pictures are great for when you want to remember the stuff like that. And you can't remember whether or not you want to remember what it was like when you were 15 or when you were 30 or what it was like the last time you went. But the ambience of being in the theme parks was lovely. The Disney staff were fantastic. The rides were great. Nothing had changed there. I had a much better experience at Disney, I feel, than I did at Universal, particularly after that first day. I think the magic is still there. I think people just need to be open to change. And, thinking back to those diehard fans who still cry today that Buddy Wars isn't open.
I'm not bothered about that one.
No.
No.
But,
I know
people
what you
who,
mean. Cranium
people,
Command, yes. Body
Yeah.
Wars, rubbish.
people who want to go back to see the original version of the Imagination ride. People who want Soaring gone and want the land on its own. It's just things change, right? Walt Disney said it himself. Disneyland is never finished. It will always change and evolve. And I think you've got to be open to the possibility that it's evolving. Maybe not for the better, maybe not for the way that we want it to evolve. But once you,
Cheers, Bob.
yeah. But once you get past that point, I enjoyed it. I had a lovely experience. I had a great family holiday. We did 15 days, and that extra day just was great. Will I go back? Yes, 100%. Will I go with Virgin? Probably most likely. We did bump into some people that we know over there who said that they flew into Melbourne with TUI, and it's kind of like they're still beta testing that experience.
Right.
But no, we loved it, and my wife is constantly reminding me on a daily basis to stop looking at that Virgin website, stop looking at travel websites, and we're not going for another 2 years. But accidents happen. One day I accidentally go on a website, get out my credit card, and boom, we booked a holiday. So
No, it'd be terrible if that website was Your Great Adventures, wouldn't it?
absolutely.
Shocking.
It would be terrible.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to hear that the magic's still there. You're still in. It's still an enjoyable experience. It's different, but it's still enjoyable, and it's still that thing that we love, and the reason why we do what we're doing right now, and that's sitting here for an hour and 45 minutes talking about Walt Disney World at 10:10 at night. So there's a lot more to come from this channel as well. Keep your eyes peeled. We've got a couple of POV videos coming every week for a few weeks, haven't we, Andy? For the listeners?
We're going for like 6-7 months at the rate with the amount we filmed over there. The next one I think is going to be Mission Space, which is on Thursday.
Nice.
And then after that, on next Tuesday, it's going to be Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. And next Thursday, it will be Cosmic Rewind. And next Friday, as a sort of a bit of a weekend special, if you will, because it's my birthday weekend, so I'm going to put out a bit of a special for everyone. I'm going to put out a room tour of a 1-bedroom villa at the Riviera.
Nice.
Lovely.
So if everyone hits your notification bells and subscribes to the channel, you'll be notified as soon as these videos are up. Matt might be doing a couple of videos as well. If he gets a chance,
I'm working on scripts. The day job's asking a lot of me at the moment.
That's exactly it. So we might possibly have a video going on up about the new Mirrorverse game. So keep an eye out for that as well. We've got some guides to the parks coming out as well. Just keep your eyes peeled. There's going to be a big amount of stuff coming to this channel, and you've got our Facebook and Instagram as well. You can find us there, WDW UK Newscast. Follow along for all the latest news. Today, I spent an hour putting together the Epcot Food and Wine Festival food guides and scheduling those posts. So there was about 32 posts, I think, with each, and then we broke down each individual booth. Hocus Pocus 2 trailer was released today as well. So this is all up on our Facebook and Instagram. So find us on those social media sites and follow along and interact with us there as well. We'll be more than happy to interact back if you've got questions and all that fun stuff. And if you do want to send us an email with any thoughts, suggestions, anything we can improve on, really, because we're still learning and we want to get better and we want to grow. And you can email us at www.uknewscast@gmail.com. But yeah, I mean that's Andy's trip report, and that's what's coming soon. Anything anybody else wants to add before we say ta-ra?
It's my turn in 2.5 weeks. I'm just going to lay it out there for you.
I'm really happy for you, Lewis. I'm really happy for you.
I would say Lewis is going to take over the Instagram, but he doesn't know how to use it. So we'll
That's so true.
we'll leave
It's
that.
really true.
We'll leave that there.
I can't do
I'll let
it.
Evie do it.
I'll give her the login. She can do the Instagram if she
Yeah.
wants.
Yeah, Evie take over. That'd be funny.
That's it. We might have Evie taking over the social medias for 2 weeks coming soon in July.
Yeah.
But yes, so thank you very much for watching or listening. If you are listening on a podcast audio format, and we'll see you again next month with another episode of WDW UK Newscast, the pod. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Doodles.